Today we're actually going to be talking about simplifying polynomials. I think that's where we left off, was simplifying polynomials. It's perfection. Thank you. And a quick reminder on what the heck a polynomial is, right? Because you're probably like, what does that even mean? You lost me already there. Well, I got a way for you to remember it, okay? I guarantee you're gonna remember this. And the key sometimes to memory is attaching it to something that you already think about, right? And if I understand my audience at all, it is that most of you are a part of the LGBT community. Hello. So let's tie it to something you're gonna remember, right? Often we hear things like binomial and polynomial, and we already know these words, right? So like we got a binomial, and we got a polynomial, and I'm already going to apologize for my handwriting. My handwriting's very bad, that's why I became a teacher. Well, we know what bi means. What does bi mean? Two. It means two. A binomial is simply we can think of it as like something that has a variable in it, so like an x in it. I know we don't like to talk about our x's, it's okay. So it's anything that like has two things in it, right? So like x plus 1, 3x minus 5. Those are all beautiful binomials, right? They got that 2 going on. 2. And then, you know, as the younger generation seems to be more and more fond of polycules, we've got the word polynomial. And what does poly mean? Three or more. Yeah. 3 or more. Many more. Many. So like examples of a polynomial might be x squared minus 3x plus 2, 5x to the third plus 4x to the second minus 5. You know, like maybe I have something wild, I want to get crazy on a Saturday night, and I've got 9x to the 10th plus, I'm just pulling numbers out of thin air, okay? Don't ask me where I got these, because it's nowhere. That's officially what we're calling my brain. Nowhere. 11x to the 5th minus 2x to the 3rd plus, I don't know, maybe 21, 21x minus 2. That's a polynomial. Those are polynomials. Polynomials just got many in that equation. All right? So what we're talking about today is that how do we simplify them? And simplifying is just, how do I say something with the smallest amount possible? Right? How do I say it with the least amount of things? That's our goal. Because if something goes on forever and ever, it gets a little like hard to look at, right? It's like, that's a lot happening and I'm going to get scared and I'm going to panic. And we don't want to panic or hit ourselves with markers like I just did. We want to simplify it. We want to make it nice and small so we can manage it a little bit better. Okay? Oh, you got a test on nomials tomorrow? Good timing. Best of luck. I do love them too. Algebra is fun. I think it's fun, and at least you'd hope I would, right? Otherwise, this would really suck. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, do take a moment to notice how whenever I did this, come close. It's okay, come close. That sounded creepy, I'm sorry. How I have x squared, like the 2, and then there's a nothing, and then there's no x, or I've got 3, 2. Notice how it's always going down. I'm always writing it in the order of x's going down. That's important. Put you back where you were. There we are. So that's important. That's how we always write it in the end. I need a tissue really quick. Sorry, my contacts have my eyes watering a little bit. All right, so let's get to it. Let's talk about how we can simplify the situation. Barach. That out of context. Oh no. Ooh, algebra's your hyperfixation? Delightful. And this is a useful skill to go over and continue to practice no matter what level of math you're in, because simplifying polynomials is never going away. Okay? It's never going away. Once you introduce it, if you continue in math, it's always there. Okay? It's always there. And the key thing to simplifying polynomials that we're going to deal with today is just don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Okay? That's going to be the number one go-to that we go to is... the number one go-to we go to. I have a way with words. It's just don't overthink it. Okay. So let's start with... We'll start relatively simple and we'll work our way up, okay? Okay. Because it's really the concept we want to get, and then we'll practice it with harder and harder things. Let's go with... Let's start with 2x plus 3x. Don't think too hard about it, just make a guess. What do you think 2x plus 3x is? Awesome. I'm getting some answers in. I'll give people a little bit of a time to make a guess. And if you're unsure, ooh, I love that question mark at the end of it. It's okay to guess. It's okay to guess. I love guesses because even if you're doing something a little wrong, you're doing something a little right. And even if you guess and get it wrong, you're going to remember the answer that much better. That's just brain psychology. So get comfy. No one knows who you are on the other side of the internet, right? Make a guess. Awesome. It's we've got a guess of 5x and 5x squared. I like that. That is wrong, but that is currently my favorite wrong answer. So I'm seeing a lot of 5x's, and I saw 5x squared. And I want to talk about that 5x squared there. Could we understand how someone might get 5x squared? If we got 5x squared, I could see it from that 2 plus 3 gave me 5, and then I have 2x's, so they said squared. It's wrong, but it's a really neat idea, right? It's like how I just said, if you're doing something wrong, you're doing something a little right. What they considered was x times x to get the x squared. And we have a plus here, so we don't get an x squared. But that was a really good idea. I'm glad you threw it out there. The correct answer is 5x. All we do is we do 2 plus 3, and we get 5. And it's in terms of x, so the x just comes along for the ride. We call these guys like terms. And there's nothing to be confused about, love. If you're confused, you're just overthinking it. What's 2 plus 3? It's 5. And x is just some unknown right now. It's saying I have 2 of these x's and I've got 3 of these x's altogether. I got 5 of these x's, buddy. That's it. Let's spice it up a little bit. It's as simple as 2 plus 3. So similarly, what if I had, we're going to keep the same numbers going because I don't want you to overthink it. What if I had 2x squared plus 3x squared? What's that going to be? What do we think 2x squared plus 3x squared is going to be if 2x plus 3x is 5x? Beautiful, beautiful, my dears. You guys are so smart and beautiful. I love it. Yes. Ah, wonderful. 2 plus 3 gives me 5. Our variable along with it is x squared, so it's just 5x squared. That's it. You guys are doing great. Oh, thank you for the kitty cat paw. All right, I'm giving a moment and then I'm going to erase it. All right, let's make it a little more mixed up, okay? We're just going to take this concept and mix it together a little bit. All right, now we're just going to combine what we just did a little bit. And we're going to talk through the first one together. I'll give you time. I know some people like to take notes with this. I'll give you time to write it down. And then I'll talk through this first one together, okay? And then I'll let you try some on your own to practice it out. And then we'll take it up a notch again. All right, let's do this. I'm going to do 5x plus, we'll do 5x squared plus 3x minus, I want to do a minus there. I wrote a plus. Minus 2x plus 8x squared. Give you a little bit of time to write that down, and then I'll talk you through this one, okay? So don't panic if you don't know how to do it. We only panic at the disco. I'm going to talk you through this one. I love we got people already coming in with those answers, guessing what it's going to be. If you're not sure, it's okay. Yeah, but it only looks scary. I promise you it's not. Write it down with me and I'll talk you through it. All right. So the first thing we're going to do to simplify this is I'm going to look at this guy and I'm going to go, all right, I see 5x squared. All right, I see an x squared. Do we see another x squared? I'm now just going to scan and look for an x squared. So I got 5x squared and I'm just scanning. Oh my God, 8x squared. That's x squared. That has an x squared attached to it. Whoop. The sound effects help. So what's 5 plus 8? We got 5x squared plus 8x squared. What's 5 plus 8? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 5 plus 8 is 13. You know how to do that. 13. And what do I do with the x squared? That just comes along for the ride. It was in terms of x squared. So it's just there. Don't overthink it. He's just stuck along. He's your little sidekick buddy that's going to go wherever you go. I don't know why that's the comparison I made, but I did. So 5x squared plus 8x squared is just 13x squared. All right. Also, my dears commenting how confused you are, it'd probably be a much better use of your time if you took some time to write it down. Because even if you're a little lost right now, that's okay. You can come back and you can look at it again. And it doesn't matter how many times it takes for you to look back on it. It's okay to get there when you get there. So take some time, jot it down. It's okay. It's okay to not get it right now. All right, we're going to keep moving though, okay? So now I move on to my next term. Oh, I don't want to use blue. I want to use a different color. There it is, green. I've got 3x, and I'm just going to look for anything else that has an x, anything else that follows that pattern. I've got a 2x. Neato. So now I've got 3x minus 2x. Well, what's 3 minus 2? Nice, it's 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So since it's a positive, we'll put plus 1. And these were in terms of x, so they just can't get rid of their x. Sometimes we struggle with that. And that's our final answer. Nice. That wasn't too bad. All right, I'm going to write down a couple, and then I want you to try them, okay? Do. All right, there are 2 problems there for you. Take a moment, give them a try, and we'll go over them together, okay? And while you do that, I'm going to eat my protein bar, because it would not really be a Math with Mike if I was not eating a protein bar while I had you guys solving math, wouldn't it? Recently, one of my students was talking to me about how bad protein bars are for you. And he did a lot of research with it, so I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. It made me concerned, though, for me. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the paws and the roses. Sneaking down so I don't cover up the problems, but I can read your things. I am so proud of all of you trying your best. It's making my teacher heart so happy. You're doing good. And thank you for joining me on a Wednesday night to do this. Thank you for taking the time and investing in yourself a little bit more and challenging your brain a little bit more. I'm really proud of you, and you should feel proud of yourself. Like trying not to eat my hair with the protein bar. Awesome. I'm seeing some really good answers out there, my dears. You ready to get to it? And some people in there are saying they have dyscalculia. I want you to know a little secret. I have dyslexia. So if anyone feels it, I definitely do. And I had a lot of people, a lot of teachers, sorry, I'm going to cover these up to look at you for a bit. I had a lot of teachers in my day tell me that I would never be successful and that I would never go to college. And I have a master's degree. You can do whatever you want to be able to do. And it's okay to have dyscalculia. And it's okay to have dyslexia. And it's okay to have any type of learning ability, that disability you have or ability. It's not always about what you can't do. It's about finding different ways around what you do. So it's okay if this doesn't quite stick. And it's okay if you have to find ways around it. All right? You got this. You don't have to do it like everyone else. All right. That being said, I will tell you how I like to do these, okay? So we start out by looking at the first one, and we see an x squared. So I look for other x squareds. Well, that's just one x. Here we go. Here we've got an x squared. So then I take just the numbers. I've got 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3. Well, that's a little tricky. That one's a -1. That's okay to get. I've got -1 x squared. And it should still go first because my other one is just an x, and I have to do it in order of like how big the thing attached to the x is, right? Like the exponent attached is. Awesome. Now I'll move on to the next one. I've got 9x. And that's all I have, right? There's no other x's to combine this guy with. So all we do is just rewrite it with the problem. It's just a plus 9x. So your final answer should be -1x squared plus 9x. All right, let's try the next guy. I'm going to do this one in red, I guess. I look at my first number, and I scan to see if I have any others with like terms, okay? Anything else that's got an x to the 3. So I look, I've got x squared, that's not it. I've just got a plain 1, that's not it. Ooh, I've got this minus 2x to the 3rd. All right, I can do something with that. Those are like terms. Those are matchy-matchy. So I take my matchy-matchy, my x to the 3 and my x to the 3, and I go, well, 7 minus 2. What is 7 minus 2? I know this one. It's 5. Yes, I am proud of myself for that. And then the x to the 3rd just comes along, right? Oh, I wrote a 2. What am I doing? What am I doing? It was totally a 3. Look at that. It was totally a 3 the whole time. All right. So now, oh no, as I was right here. This is my eraser. I will pull that joke out whenever I can. Thank you very much. All right. So now I go to the next one. And I'll do it in black. Why not? All right, I've got a minus x squared. Do I have any other x squareds in this equation? No, I don't. So I'm just going to write down that number, minus 6x squared. It cannot be combined with anything else. It's already simplified. And then I move on to the 1. I move on to my last thing. I look at it. And I go, is there any other just plain old numbers out there? Is anybody out there? All right. There isn't. It's just 1. So I'm going to write down plus 1. And that's it. That's my final answer. Ba-bam. Oh, I thank you for your roses. I don't know why I said it like that. Nice. It is fun. It can be fun. Math can be very frustrating, but it can also be fun. I like to think of it as kind of almost like a mystery. We're problem solving. And it's okay to be problem solving and get the wrong answer. It's okay to have a brain teaser and get it wrong. And the same goes for math. You just try the brain teaser again. All right. Let's try something just a snazzy bit harder, shall we? Just taking a good old look. Ooh, buddy, let's do it. We're going to talk about how... Oh, no, is that not it? Am I skipping ahead? Yeah, let's do that now. We're going to talk about Words are hard. We're going to talk about dividing polynomials, okay? Yay! We're going to divide some polynomials. All right, we're going to start with a concept here. We're going to start with a concept. First concept is hydration. Make sure you drink water. It's good for you. Okay. The second concept is just going to be basic division. Okay. We're just going to talk about what division is for a hot moment. And I'm going to show you a fun little trick mathematicians like to throw around all the time. Ho, ho, ho. We love fun little tricks. Where'd my marker go? Okay, great. So here's my first question. Here's my first division thing. You might go, that's a fraction. But fraction is just secret division. Fraction is just secret division. If you ever see, I can point. If you ever see that line, a fraction line, it's really just saying 2 divided by 2, okay? And some of you are hopping to the answer. What is 2 divided by 2? One. Beautiful. Easy. You knew that, right? If I've got 2 out of 2 things, I've got the whole darn thing. I have 1. Nice. All right, maybe a little trickier for you. A little trickier, okay? You guys are a smart group. All right, what if we did 3 over 3? Oh, bet you can't get this one. What's 3 over 3? It's 1. Right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. If you've got 3 things and 3 people, each person gets 1. It's a whole thing. 1. All right. You're a smart group. So we'll make it a little harder. Okay. What if I have 1,356 over, can you do this one in your head? 1,356. Huh. Oh, bet you don't know that one. No, you all know it. I know you do. It's 1. Any number over itself is just 1. All right, so then if I've got x over x, what do I have? If I've got x over x. Oh, don't get confused now. You were just telling me the right answer a moment ago. It's 1. Any number over itself is simply 1. And I don't even need to know what that number is. You don't even need to know what that number is. Any number over itself is 1. This x is just standing in place for something else. It is a number. It's some number. It could be 2. It could be 1,356. It could be 5. We don't care. But as long as it's itself over itself, it is simply 1. That's all. So, if I make that just a little bit, if I expand on that, what about x squared over x squared? What's that going to be? And thank you for the roses, my dears. It's still just 1. Nice. If I have x to the power of 9 over x to the power of 9, what's that going to be? Yeah, it's just 1. It's just 1. Anything over itself continues to be 1. We don't need to know what it is. We just need to know that it's the same thing. Isn't that neat? I think that's really neat. And I'd solve that equation, honey, but you didn't put any variables in it to be solved. I know what you're trying to do there. But if you show me something, it's going to be like that thing where they showed the math dude. They're like, solve this. And they gave him something where he's like, this isn't an equation. This is just like, and they're like, oh, well, you're solving for theta. And he's like, no, theta isn't a variable here. And he's like, ah. So, all right, we're going to take that now and we're going to work on some simplification with it, okay? Because tonight's theme is simplifying. So we're going to take that concept and run with it a little bit. All right. So now let's say I have Nope, I want to break this down one more thing. Let's say I have this, and I want to simplify that. It's not as bad as it seems. Ooh, we've got some guesses. We've got some guesses. Nice. All right. Some of them are right. Some of them are wrong. All of them have a decent idea. All right. Let's talk about what we're seeing here, okay? And that will bring us back to the first concept we talked about. What does it mean? All right. What does it mean if I say x to the third power? What does that actually say? What does it mean? What do you mean? What it means is that you're going to do x times x, right, times x. Yeah, that's what x to the third power means. It means x multiplied by itself 3 times. So the bottom is just x times x times x times x times x. Yeah? I've got 5 x's. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of x's. We're not going to talk too much more about that. Anyways. So now let's bring it back to that concept that we just talked about, right? That x over x is just 1. We've got a lot of 1s hidden in there, don't we? We just have to find them. See, I had one whole right here, right? X over x. That's just 1. So these guys just cancel each other out and become 1. X over x right here. There's another 1. And 1 times 1 is just 1. Also, hi, Crow. And then I've got another one right here. Look at that. I had so many 1s just hiding out. And so that's like saying that I have 1 times 1 times 1 times, I've got 2 x's left here, right? And we're just going to throw a 1 up there just so it's not lonely up there. Well, now, what's 1 times 1 times 1? That's just 1. We didn't really need to write that out. I was just kind of writing it out to make a point, yeah? So I'm left with this 1 over x times x. And what's x times x? How many x's am I left with? You can't do it yet. Always say yet, because there's always room and there's always time. And it's okay to not be there yet. It is kind of magical. It's kind of fun. So it's just going to end up being 1 over x squared. It's just this. And this is the proper way to put it. I did see a few people writing some things like x to the power of -2. Well, you're not incorrect. It is not how you should write it as a simplified form. This is not simplified form, and we will get to that. All right? This is simplified form. All your exponents should be positive at the end. So I'll give you a moment if you want to. So I know some people like to take notes with it if you want to write this down. And we'll try something with it, okay? I'll give you a couple problems to try. All right, let's do this. Where's my eraser? Oh, there's my husband. Keep it simple to start with, just practicing these out, getting the hang of them, because I know it's new to some people. Give these two a try, and then we'll spice it up even more, okay? Also, I do love how I've messed up for a lot of you guys that Mike is an English teacher. I do find that funny. And the reason I don't teach English dressed as Mike is, one, the type of English he teaches is actually teaching you how to speak a new language, like a foreign language. And I'm really bad at that. Anytime I've tried to learn a foreign language with my dyslexia, it just doesn't quite work right. I can get a little bit, but and so I'm not comfortable teaching that. And two, I am a licensed math teacher who's been teaching for 8 years. Do some fun math there on how old I am. So I think it's really funny, though, when I hear from people where they're like, I forgot that Mike doesn't teach math canonly. It is ectoplasm. Is that his name? I think I messed that up. You know who I'm talking about, right? I think I got it right. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm mixing Danny Phantom. I'm 8 years old. Yep. No, I've been teaching math for 8 years. Oh, thank you for the cloud bread. Is it cloud bread? Is it angel? Is it what type? Fairy bread? Is it fairy? Is that what you call that? I'm doing great. I know why you were getting answers. Delightful. Ectoplasm is right. Let's go. I don't know what I win, but I win. Also, I don't have an ectoplasm cosplay to teach you guys in, so I also feel like that'd be a little creepy. Right? And I made Mike, so I thought, why not? All right, let's do this. Now, if you didn't catch the little quick way to think about this, it's okay if you have to write it out and just cross out the x's, right? It's okay to go, okay, I've got 5 x's on top. That's totally okay, and I got 2 x's on the bottom. You can do that and go, bam, there's a hidden 1. Bam, there's a hidden 1. You can do that all day long. 3 x's on the top. All right, neat. So I'm just left with x to the power of 3. Woo. You can do that. There is an easier way. Okay? And it's like this. What's 5 minus 2? 5 minus 2. Golly gee willikers, it's 3. Yay. Nice. So then, if I do 9, like 11 minus 9, right? Is that 3 again? No, that's 2. I can do math. Look, I'm great. And those leftover 2 x's should be on the bottom, right? Because that has the most. So, x to the power of 2 over 1. There we go. Nice. So that makes our life a lot simpler. Golly gee, well, of course it's 3. I did say that. That makes our life a lot simpler. If I had something like crazy out there, like, I don't know, x over 192 and x 201. I'm not going to draw out 201 x's. I don't have the time. And I don't wanna. But what I can do, and what I do have the time to do, is I can do 201 minus 192. And you can also slap that situation into a calculator just fine, and figure it out. I'm a big advocate of calculators. I'm from the generation where they always yelled at us that we'd never have a calculator in our back pocket, like just walking around with one. To which I always heard that as a challenge, right? I heard that as a challenge of like, so I should just buy a pocket calculator and always keep one with me to like spite my math teacher. Because if I do anything, I do it for spite. But now we have these devices though that like I'm streaming to you on them. That's wild. So you use the technology you have, man. If you don't remember that, that's chill. That's chill as heck. Just use that calculator. Anyways, this would get me, if I'm doing math in my brain, 8 more would get me to 200. And then plus 1 would get me to 9. So it should be 1 over x to the power of 9. Let's go. I did call phones these devices because it's not just a phone. When was the last time you used your phone as a phone? Be real. And I'm not talking about that you're like that you're video chatting someone. Like you honestly dialed a number. And like just not like that. Right? It does like, we use it for everything but a phone most of the time. It's hilarious. Yeah. Honestly, if someone calls me, I'm like, what, are we married? Why are you calling me? Or I'll answer my mother's phone. You guys said your mom. That's fair. But yeah. All right, let's make it just a little bit harder. Let's add in a little bit of pizzazz, shall we? We've got a little bit more time left, so we'll add in a little bit more, because it's now, I'm just words now. All right. I'm going to make it just a little bit harder. No one panic on me. It's the same concept. It's the same thing, okay? It's just more ingredients. It's like a salad. We've added more ingredients. Why did I say it was like a salad? Is this why you guys show up? For the weird things I say? All right. I'm going to do 4 over... Ho, ho, ho. Look at that guy. You better not be panicking on me. Don't panic. It's gonna be okay. And you're gonna feel so smart for having to solve it, okay? You got this. Take a moment, write it down. Math, it's like a salad. Put that on a t-shirt. Math is like a salad. We're just adding more ingredients. All right. Take a moment, write it down, and I will tell you how to solve this one. And if you think you know how, go for it. I believe in you. You're 24 and you want to cry. That's just being an adult. I'm sorry. That's not really math's fault at this point. It's a lot of other things. I'm sorry. I'm there with you. But I don't know if it's math's fault. It could be. Also, I do like to say that at every given point, at any given point, math has made everybody cry. So never feel bad about yourself if you get, like, frustrated with math. That's, like, how it's supposed to be, right? That's what pushing yourself feels like. That's what it feels like. And that's okay. That's actually a good thing. That means that your brain is physically growing, that you're literally creating synapses. You wouldn't go to the gym and be like, well, nothing hurts, so I'm just so strong, and it was a successful time. No, it wasn't. You didn't push yourself hard enough. You should be leaving that gym sore. Same thing, if you're not leaving a class with your brain hurting a little bit, did you really learn something? You didn't push yourself far enough. That's okay. Push yourself. I'm proud of you for doing so. Also, yes, math has made me cry before, okay? Math isn't allowed to ruin your day, okay? I'll say that any day of the week. Math is not allowed to make you feel bad about yourself. All right. We're just gonna, honestly, the thing I notice about math a lot is that when you make it bigger, people panic. Right? They go, that must be hard. Just cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Hard math is just easy math, sitting on top of each other's shoulders, wearing a trench coat, trying to get into an R-rated movie. Okay? It's just a couple kids in a trench coat. Don't worry about it. So, here we go. If I gave you 4 divided by 2, what dat? What's 4 divided by 2? I know you know it. It's 2. Yeah. You know that one. It's 2. Okay, let's write it down. That's fine. I'm going to do my little line just in case stuff ends up at the bottom. The 2 would be on top right because it's a hole. Make this a little bolder. Gonna write in bold font. I don't know. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see if I can find another thing to cover up with. Great. That's got stickers on it. This is my note, what I use for Put Your Hands Up radio. When I need to scribble on it, I'm just scribbling nonsense. All right. X to the power of 3 over x to the power of 9. We just learned how to solve these. Take a moment. What is that by itself? Right? If I gave you that, that's not scary. We just learned how to do that. Well, 9 minus 3, that's 6. The 9 is on the bottom, so the remaining 6 should be on the bottom, right? So I'll put x to the power of 6 on the bottom. Isn't that a neat magic trick I just did? You cover it up and it suddenly is a lot easier. All right, last part. Why? Tell me why. All right, Backstreet Boys aside, I've got 5 on top and 2 on the bottom. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you were saying you didn't know how to do this or you couldn't do it at the beginning, right? Now you got it. I'm so proud. Y to the power of 3 goes on top. That's the wrong colored marker. Killing it. And there we have it. That's its simplified form. We call it again simplified because we took something that said things with a lot of stuff and we said it with as little amount of stuff as possible. You did it, yay! I want popcorn, but I'm in a blizzard. It's really blizzardy out right now. I don't love it. Great job, guys. Yay. I always love when the chat is so supportive of each other. You guys make my heart so happy. Thank you for being amazing. All right. I'm going to give you guys another one to try to wrap up today, and then we'll check it together, okay? So I'll give you another one like this. You'll try it, and we'll check it together. You guys are doing great. All right. Please assist me, Eraser. He would not assist. Yay, I like math now, yay! All right, we're gonna do... Give this guy a try. Try this guy on your own. It's okay to get it wrong. And then we'll go over it together. Deep breaths, you got it. Y'all are doing great. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I'll give people a few more, just a minute more, and then we'll go over it. Also, I always think, as people finish it up and are putting in their answers, I love this. Just want to comment on, I always think it's wild, like I'm just looking up at the viewer count right now of like 284 people watching me teach math. That's wild, right? That'd be like if I'm in an auditorium teaching this. That's just delightful. Thank you for being here. Just delightful. I think it'd be really funny if one day I did this at a con. That would be really funny. That'd be wild. I don't think they'll ever, but that would be so much fun, right? Do a little panel with it. That'd be so much fun. One day I hope to be invited to a con. Like I go to cons as a guest, but to be a person at one. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to be like, not a guest, but to be a guest at the, I don't know the right words. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Like I go to have fun, but that'd be wild. That'd be fun. Anyways, let's get back. I think if any of you are in Minnesota, I do live here. I think you can request it at places. I don't know. But anyways, let's do this. Again, we're going to isolate an attack, okay? Make it a smaller problem. 21 divided by 3. Seeing a lot of it in my answers. 21 divided by 3 is 7. I'm adding in my little, just in case things end up on the bottom. All right. Nice. Then we're going to look at just my x's. X over 10 divided by x over 4. What's 10 minus 4? Nice, my dears, it's 6. And since the 10 is on top, the 6 will be on top, right? That's where the leftover x's will be. All right, last part of this. We're going to look just at our y's. 7 over 13. What's 13 minus 7? That's 6. A lot of 6's in this guy. Would have been fun if I had made that one too. And since the 13 is on the bottom and that's the biggest one, that's where our remainder is going to be, right? So it's going to be y over 6 on the bottom. Clean that up a little bit. And that's our simplified form. Again, simplified form is important because if I'm dealing with a lot of things, and as you get into higher and higher math, you'll have a lot of things that you're playing with, right? A lot of numbers that you're playing with, a lot of variables you're playing with. And at the end of it, you're going to need to package it up really nice and neat so that you can tell people about it and be like, oh, this is the thing you want. This is the thing we're doing. And that's just a much nicer way of reading it, right? You want to say it with as little amount of things as possible because it makes it easier to understand. Whereas if I'm trying to read this situation, I'm like, what? And that's why you guys felt that initial reaction, right? Why a lot of people looked at it and went, ah. It's because it's a lot. It's too much for our brains to take in altogether. So we piece it apart and write it as simply as possible. And that's why simplifying is really important and why it's never going away and why it's a good thing to always review and remember.